Hey guys, Brian Smith here. I'm the founder and CEO of Strategy Ladders. We help founders of B2B service companies and agencies scale their business so they can get the fuck out of operations and sales so they can enjoy business ownership and not be stuck in business operations. Now, I've worked with well over 1,000 founders over the last decade, and one thing is consistent. They consistently make the same mistake when trying to solve problems in their business. And this mistake is quite simple, yet it's not always the easiest to fix. This problem is when they go and they want to solve a problem in their business, they typically are looking to solve the problem where they're feeling the pain. And here's the thing with business. Where you feel the pain in your business is almost never what is causing the pain. I'll give an example. Oftentimes, we'll work with clients that are having trouble growing their sales. As a founder, they're doing great selling, but as soon as they try to bring in anyone else into the process, they can't scale their sales. The issue isn't who they're hiring or even the sales training that they're providing. In that case, it's that they haven't dialed in their offer, their unique value position, and their unique selling proposition. What they're doing is they're engaging quite often in what's called empathetic selling. So they're going out and basically selling based on the fact that people like and trust them as the founder, as the owner of the business, but not necessarily fully understanding, at least at an initial stage, the actual value proposition. And so in these scenarios, it makes it really, really hard for a salesperson to go out and actually sell, because the reason the founder is able to get some of these meetings is simply because they're the founder. Now, when you have a more junior salesperson in place, they have an uphill battle. This is only one example. Oftentimes we'll see an operations issue is also an offer issue, or maybe it's actually a management issue, or even a process or tracking issue within the business. However, where we feel the pain is, again, rarely what is causing it. Now, this actually is a compounding challenge, because if you go out and let's say you hire a sales consultant because you're having issues in sales, they may come up with something that actually is not good for the business long term. An example being a money back guarantee. Oftentimes, salespeople will use something like that because it's a sales tool that solves a branding, positioning, and offer problem. But it's a limited time or a short term fix. It doesn't actually get you to the point where then you can take the business to the next level. It will help you close a few sales, but not help you truly grow the sales. Now, here's the other challenge that happens is as you start solving problems within your business, you create new ones. So again, if you hire a salesperson or a sales consultant to solve a sales problem, before you know it, now you have a capacity problem. And unless you have the clarity on how to fix all of these problems yourself, which again, most business owners do not, then you're going to find yourself in a situation where you are compounding your problems. And while one area might solve, then you end up running into this next issue. Again, I'm going to continue to use sales as the example, because what we often see is somebody increasing their sales, running into an operations or capacity or delivery issue, or even a QA issue. And then what do? They slow down on sales. Now, we all know that momentum is the strongest force in business. You're not going to be able to build up sales, then drop them again, and then build them up and continue to do that and expect to continue to have sales growth across the board. I often compare this to somebody who goes out and says that they want to train for a marathon, but then rather than going out and running long distances, as soon as they break a sweat, they stop running. So yes, can you get better over time? Yeah, but slowly and incrementally, not having much faster growth, which is what a lot of us want to see. And when you kill that momentum, guess what happens? Overall, the business starts to slow down. You're killing momentum across the board. So this is why it's so important to work with consultants that actually can work with the entirety of your business. Because what ends up happening is you solve one issue, you move into the next. And if you don't have somebody who can actually help you identify the source of the problem, saying, hey, Sales are not the problem here. You have great sales coming in. Now you have a capacity or a management or a process or a tracking issue or a quality issue. Let's solve that, but keep the sales going. If you don't have that type of consultant working with you, you are guaranteed to slow down and you're guaranteed to stall out. Now, I'll give another example that we see quite often. So we work with a lot of B2B service businesses with founders that range from as small as solopreneurs in our community program all the way up to we have clients that have well over 200 employees. Now, there's several points that we see these clients get stuck. The first one is what we call the rule of 20. So what ends up happening is entrepreneurs are generally really great natural leaders, but leadership has its limits. We like to think of a leader standing up in front of a big crowd of people. And yes, that might be great for communicating a vision, but that's not great for organizing the people to help them achieve that vision. So what ends up happening is what we call, again, the rule of 20, where you will see these founders get up to the point where they're around 20 employees and they cannot grow past it. They'll stall out. And if you don't believe me, go on to LinkedIn and you're going to see a preponderance of founders that are running businesses between 15 to about 23 people. And they're stuck there. And you'll often see that if you look at the insights, if you're paying for LinkedIn, you're going to see their growth flatline and stay there. This is why oftentimes we're working with clients who might have been running their business for 5, 10, or even 15 years, and they're still sub 20. Another way to look at this is if you want to invite 15 friends to dinner, that's pretty easy. Everybody can self-organize. Hey, you sit there, I'll sit here. We can break up the check when it comes. But if you want to invite 50 or 70 of your friends, all of a sudden it's a completely different endeavor and you actually have to manage where do people sit, how are we going to pay, where do they put their jackets and so forth. Completely different type of scenario. So that's where management comes in. So if you're running into an issue where you're not actually growing and you think it's, say, a sales or an operations issue, and you bring in a consultant to attempt to solve that, and they don't have that holistic view to understand how to actually break down the true issue, which again may be lack of management skill on the team, then you're going to spend a lot of time and money paying consultants to address pain points without solving the problem. So in summary, this is one of the most vital steps in understanding how to grow your business. You need to bring in somebody that has the experience, that has gone to battle before, that has built up a business like this, and can actually help you identify what is the real problem. Because 99% of the time, entrepreneurs get this wrong. They go after the pain, not the source of the problem. And again, they're completely different. It's like saying, hey, I have shoulder pain. Let's go ahead and take a pill for it. And working on the shoulder, I'm saying this because I've done this myself, when no matter how much you work on that shoulder, it's not going to get better because it's a pinched nerve in your neck. And so if all you do is focus on the shoulder, you're just going to cause more problems. You have to actually diagnose the fundamental issue, in this case, the pinched nerve, in order to fix where the pain is. And again, in a complex system like a business, you need to then, as soon as you solve that problem, not only be ready for, but be able to anticipate the next problem. And that exactly is what we do at Strategy Ladders. It's why we have a team of subject matter experts that range from finance to automation to process mapping and process management to marketing, sales, and so forth. It is so vital to be able to work with somebody like our strategy coaches to take them through, to take you or entrepreneurs through this process of, number one, identifying what is the core issue, how do we solve it, and then how do we move on to the next problem? Because as you probably understand at this point, there is no end to problems in business. In fact, our job in business is not to get rid of problems, but to constantly deal with higher quality and bigger problems. Again, a revenue issue is a much lower quality problem than a capacity issue. Because if we have more revenue than we can handle, that's a much better problem than not having enough revenue to be able to cover our expenses. And we want to keep building and building and building. And these problems eventually run into what do I do with all of the extra cash? And then we move into things like acquisitions and so forth. Ultimately, this is one of the most key differentiators about what we do at Strategy Ladders that you will not find in nearly any other consulting team out there today. So I look forward to hopping on a call with you. Please let me know if you have any questions. This is a core element of what we do. And I'm happy to walk through and help you diagnose what is the source of the pain that you are experiencing today in your business. Thanks, guys.